Hello, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. If you're new here, it's a safe place to talk about books and nerdy things, which is why it's called the Book Refuge. But today, I'm going to step outside my box of literature and novels, and I'm going to talk about something that anyone who knows me will know is my second passion next to books, and that would be television, which I have a wee bit of a problem with, and usually when I don't get through a TBR or read enough books, it's because I'm watching TV. And there are so many amazing things on TV and streaming and all that fun stuff that I just thought it'd be a nice change of pace because I'm in a little bit of an aquafos dry spell now. The books I were reading before don't seem as fun right now. So instead of plowing through those, I've been a little restless and I've been watching some TV, and I just thought, let's talk about TV, baby. Okay. So first off, I'm going to be doing a top 10 list of this, but I have some honorable mentions because it's really hard to pick just 10. Wow, I have problems that I can't limit this list to 10. But quick, I'm just going to tell you my honorable mentions. And they're honorable mentions for me because they're shows that either have been on for 10 or more seasons. Like all of these ones are procedural shows. So it's not as much about the characters or about what's happening with them. And so that's why they're honorable mentions for me. I love them because they're in my top 15, obviously, but they're not ones that I can't wait for. Like if they were on last night and I get home and I'm tired, I can wait. These other ones on my list, if a new episode is out, it's not waiting. I'm staying up till 1 a.m. When it drops on the streaming service, I'm watching it. But anyway, wow, I'm talking too much already, guys. This happens. Super excited about this. So my honorable mentions are Criminal Minds, The Mentalist, Elementary, Law & Order SVU, and Grey's Anatomy. Again, you can kind of see 3 of these shows have been on over 10 seasons. One of them, Elementary, I thought it was over. I guess there's a new season coming out. Season 6 is coming out soon. Super excited. He's actually one of my favorite versions of Sherlock Holmes, and Lucy Liu plays Joan Watson, and I really like it because they're just so cool together, and I love their chemistry. But anyway, those are my honorable mentions. Criminal Minds freaks the bejesus out of me. I go through phases where I can watch that show, but I do have all the seasons of it, and I love it. But it makes me not trust people, so I have to be sparing when I watch it. Same with Law & Order SVU. That's been on since I was 7 years old, guys. 7 years old. That show has been on. It's going into its like 19th season or something. And I mean, I could always enjoy that show. Lately, it's been a tad too political for me. Which is the same too with Grey's Anatomy, and they just get a little too political for me. So it's like I always will enjoy them. I'll usually save up a few on my Hulu and then knock them out when I have a free Saturday, which is never. But yeah, so anyway, those are my honorable mentions. Those are shows that I have loved for years, but they don't quite make the top 10 list, which here we go. My top 10 list is full of a lot of shows that are over, that are classics, shows that are still on right now, and shows that I just cannot live without. So without further ado, we're going to get into number 10, which I don't have the box set for. I plan to get it. It's a lot of money, so I'm waiting for it to go on sale. And so my number 10 favorite TV show ever is Friends. I mean, this show, again, started when I was a little kid. My mom loved it. We used to watch it together. She used to record them on VHS before it was syndicated. And so it's on every channel on TV all the time, and before it was on Netflix. And I just remember not getting any of the jokes when I was a kid, but because my mom was laughing, I would laugh too. And then now I watch it as an adult and I'm like, wow, this is a little bit raunchy, and wow, it's so funny now that I understand it as a grown-up. So Friends is number 10 for me because I can throw it on and I've seen every episode 5-10 times, but I always will still laugh and I still enjoy what's happening. So that's number 10 for me. Number 9 is Once Upon a Time. See, I like to buy things. Look at how shiny it is. So now I'm going to explain that I have some qualifications on this list, because there are seasons of some of these shows that I think are classic and that you should definitely watch. But there's also some shows that went on too long, and you'll see what I mean as we get deeper into this list, where they should have cut it off earlier because the story had nowhere else to go. Once Upon a Time likes to pride itself on renewing the show every 11 episodes. It's a new show. And they kind of started doing that after season 1. And so season 1 for me, it came out the year I graduated high school. Me and a bunch of my girlfriends used to watch it together, and it was so exciting to theorize and see who was going to be related to each other next, and like who was going to figure out if they were cursed or not. And I just enjoyed it so much. This story is about Storybrooke, Maine, and they were all cursed by the evil queen, who is fabulous. She's absolutely fabulous. And she cursed Snow White and Prince Charming to the real world. So they're cursed into ordinary land, and they freeze. They live in this town that's like protected. Nobody can leave it. And they just are living kind of the same days and the same years over and over again until Emma, who is the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming, her son, Henry, comes and finds her in the real world and brings her back to Storybrooke, Maine, and then time starts again, and Emma has to break the curse that's on the land, but she doesn't believe in it, so her son has to convince her. Anyway, I didn't realize I was going to do synopses for these, but I guess I am. And anyway, I think the first season of this is so well put together. I rewatch this at least once a year, the first 22 episodes. It was such a joy the first time, seeing when people would discover it and when things would happen and how they would be able to break this curse. And sadly, it quickly started to fall apart for me. Like, so I put on my list, I put my favorite season is season 1 through 2.5 because I like the first half of season 2 as well. And then I kept watching it for years after, but I've since given up, and it's supposed to end this year, and I don't really care what's happening, and that breaks my heart, but I don't care. But anyway, number 10 is the first season of Once Upon a Time. One of my favorite things I watched on TV, and I suggest it to you. I mean, if you get into it, prepare to be frustrated later on, but the first season is amazing. And if you've seen this, tell me when it went off the rails for you. Was it with Frozen? Was it with Aladdin? Was it with Never Never Land? Tell me when you went off the rails for you, because I bet you, no matter how much you love the show, it went off the rails for you. Okay? All right. Wow, I talk so much, guys. We're so far in already. Okay. Number 8. And again, I gotta make qualifications. I'm gonna do that for most of the seasons. Walking Dead. Yeah, I love this show. But what I put as my favorite is Walking Dead seasons 1 through 5. I think they tell a great story. I think it's gone good places, and it's had a lot of things to say. But when a certain character came around, I was just done with it. And even though I love that actor who plays Negan, I love him. Like, I would marry him if he was single and wasn't quite so old. But I don't like where the story's going now. I feel like it's stagnant, and you're in a land of zombies. Like, make it interesting. I don't like horror, but this is the one scary thing that I like. I love this show. Seasons 1 through 5, Walking Dead is my number 8. Number 7, Supernatural. Yeah. Driver picks the songs. Shotgun shuts his K-Cole. I love it. I love this show. I love Sam and Dean. I love them now, even though they're like in their 40s and still like playing these bachelors running around killing things and the family business. But also I think why I've held on to this show, because there's been times when I've stopped it. I started watching the show when it was in season 5. And if you don't know what this one's about, it's about the supernatural and how it's really real. And these two boys are hunters, and they're men. These two men protect us from the things that go bump in the night. So that's that's what it's about. But I think the reason I've held on to it, even though I've stopped sometimes because it's thrown me out a few times, and then I'll binge up the 2 seasons I dropped out, is these 2 guys, Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles, are such cool humans, and they do so many great things that it's like, I want to keep supporting their show. And yeah, it's kind of got the same syndrome as the other ones. They've been okayed for like a season 14 and 15, and I don't know how many more times they can die and come back, but I really like these people, and so I want to support their show, and it is pretty interesting. I like some of the mythology and the different ways they handle different legends from different cultures and stuff like that. I really enjoy it. Number 6. This one's big. You ready for it? This one I do have the box set for. Gilmore Girls. Yeah, this thing is so heavy. My aunt gave me this box set a few years ago because she had 2 sets of the show, because my aunt's amazing. It comes with this cool, I'll open it. It has this like cool compendium of all of them, and then it has like these little booklets about special features and stuff. It's so awesome. But I mean, of course, what else is there to say? Like, this is one I can get through quick. This, again, I can watch like any episode and I laugh. But for me, I said my favorites were season 1 through 6.5. Because season 7, we don't talk about that. And I didn't really like the reboot. Especially if that is the only season they're going to do of it. I really don't like it. And it was fun when I was watching it. But when I rewatched it again with my friend, I was just like, why? Like, if you weren't really going to do anything cool with them, like, why did you bring them back? The best part about it, seriously, the best part about the reboot was Emily Gilmore. I never would have thought she'd be my favorite, but the thing she goes through after her husband died, which was so sad, he died in real life too, so they had to have him pass away, were so cool. Like, I love when she, spoiler, like, freaks out on the DAR. Oh my gosh, I've rewatched that scene so many times. But other than that, like, I didn't really like the whole Lorelai and Luke thing, like what they were going through, and that they still weren't married yet. Like, I just didn't like it. It didn't feel like that would have happened to me. And Logan and her, that they were doing that, and like, I just didn't like it. So anyway, but I love the originals. It's great. So yeah, this is my number 6. Like British things and the BBC, well, you probably already know about it then, but if you like those things, you need to watch this. Poldark with Aidan Turner and Emily Tomlinson. You need to get on this train. If you're not on the Poldark train, get on. I'll set this one up a little better because it's not super classic, although I have all the novels in this series. I'm actually reading one of them right now because there's like 13 of them. Poldark is about Ross Poldark, who was fighting on the British side of the American Revolution. He was forced into it, so I mean, that's supposed to make you feel better, I guess. But like, he's English, so if he was fighting on their side, it's not like it was bad. But anyway, he comes home from the war to find that his father has died, and he didn't know about it. And his father leaves him his coal mining business in the Cornish area, and he's in debt, and his mine is failing. And you know, fantastic cherry on top, the woman that he loved is getting married to his cousin. So he comes home and his life is in shambles. It seems like it'd be better for him to just sell what he could and go try to make his way in America or go somewhere else. But Ross is really stubborn, and so he digs his heels in and he tries to make a go of the business. And along the way, he meets an amazing woman and tries to put his life back together. And it's fabulous. There's 3 seasons out right now. The 4th season comes out this fall in the UK. And then they've been okayed for season 5, which is awesome. So really, you should get into the show. It is dramatic and beautiful. The scenery is insane. Not that that's the only reason you'd watch it, but I mean, the scenery is insane. And if you like Downton Abbey or Jane Austen novels, like, you're gonna love this. You really are. I think the seasons are on Amazon Prime, so check it out. Amazing. Speaking of British things, you knew this was going to be on the list, right? Here's Downton Abbey. Look at Robert on the front. Oh, he's so cute. Where's the better one? Ah, there we go. Aren't they great? Oh, I love them so much. So this is my fourth favorite on the list, Downton Abbey. But again, I said seasons 1 through 4 because I think seasons 5 and 6 were kind of pointless, but it was making so much money. They're like, let's keep going. But I really, really love seasons 1 and 2. And then season 3 is kind of like just where they want to rip your heart out because things happen. And if you don't know what Downton Abbey is about, I can't help you, man. Like, do you live in civilized society? You need to be watching this. Seasons 5 and 6 aren't that bad. I'm just telling you what my favorite TV of all time is. And this is number 4, seasons 1 through 4. Love it. It's about the Crowley family who live in this big, beautiful house, and it's about them. It's kind of like an upstairs, downstairs type of situation. And there's love and romance and war. And it actually all starts on April 12th, 1912, when the Titanic sinks and the heir to their house, because Robert has 3 daughters, the heir to his land dies on the Titanic. And his second cousin, once removed, whatever, who is Matthew Crowley, right there, Dan Stevens, it's amazing. He is the next in line. So he gets brought in to get accustomed to family, but he's a lawyer and he doesn't really care about it. So it's all these different dynamics involved. Like I said, if you don't know what this is about, I can't help you, but it's fabulous. Again, give it a try. Right. Ooh, getting tight. Who's gonna make the cut? This one's gonna surprise some people. Well, maybe not. Because if you've watched a couple of my videos, you definitely know that I have a soft spot for this. So, Little House on the Prairie. Oh yes. Oh yes. This was the first TV show I ever binge watched as a kid. And this was actually on in this, this is long over. Michael Landon, may he rest in peace. This show was on in the late 70s, 80s, 90s. It was on for a long time. And it's about Laura Ingalls Wilder when she starts as Laura Ingalls, and it starts after the TV movie Little House on the Prairie. And then this is season 7 because it's one of my favorites, and I didn't want to grab season 1. It's on the bottom of the pile. But it's just about different life lessons and different things that they say happen in Walnut Grove, Minnesota, which is near where my mom was born. She's born in New Ulm, Minnesota. But it's filmed in California. So they don't really have winter there, which always kind of makes me chuckle. Like, they have one Christmas episode a year, and all the rest of the time it's super nights out. Sorry, it makes me laugh, but it's funny. Then I'm like, you ain't from Minnesota, brah. We have 7 months of winter every year. But anyway, this is a classic. It's so good. It's suitable for all ages. It has falling in love and living on the prairie and farming and family, and it's just a chill show. And I mean, when I'm sad, I throw on some Little House on the Prairie because you're either gonna cry with it, because believe me, they know how to make your tears flow, but they also know how to make you laugh, and they're amazing. So I'll tell you with this one, I'll tell you favorite episode of all time, which is actually in season 6. It's called Sweet 16, and I watched it on every birthday except this year because I wasn't home this year. On every birthday since I was 15, I've watched Sweet 16. And if you are an older person who watched the show, or you're younger and you've experienced through your parents, you know what I'm talking about. Sweet 16 is my favorite. But okay, this video is getting so long. I'm sorry. Not really, because, if you watch this long, you're okay with it, right? Awesome. I love you for it. Okay, getting down to 2. All right, and my number 2, a couple of things I'm going to say. Going to be a little controversial, but you know what? Just keep the hate away. Remember, this is the Book Refuge. This is a safe place. Today, this is the TV Refuge. Like, it extends. Just because I'm not talking about books doesn't mean you can get all, freak out. Number 2, Doctor Who. Yes, this had to be on here. Love Doctor Who. However, what I'm going to say are my favorite seasons, and I love the whole thing. But my favorite seasons are seasons 5 through 8. And obviously, you know why. Because I love Matt Smith. And he's my doctor. 11 was my doctor. We all have one. I did love Peter Capaldi, though. Like, season 9 was okay. I just haven't been able to, like, keep going because it's gotten too weird for me. I feel like it's, like, season 5 is where, like, it really picked up for me. Because the first episode I ever accidentally saw was one in season 5. So then my roommate at the time was like, oh, you got to go back and start with season 1 because you're going to be confused because they bring stuff, you know, forward and backward because he's a time traveler. So, and so I went back and, like, I enjoyed everything. Like, I'm not a hater. I don't hate on any of the other doctors. It's just that I was waiting to get to Matt Smith again. And I feel like that might have tainted me a little because I'd seen how funny he was in the one I saw. And so I do love 10. I love him. Like, guys, there's no hate here. There's none. But seasons 5 through 8 are my favorite. I liked the story arc that happens in those. I liked what was happening. River, the only water in the forest is the river. I mean, when you find out what that means, your brain explodes, people. Okay, anyway, enough about this. I love Doctor Who. I do want to continue where I left off. It's just, I watch a lot of TV, as you can see, and if I'm not interested in it, I don't have time for it because it takes a lot of hours to watch things, all right? I'm not in school anymore. I don't have things to procrastinate. That's funny, but it's true. There's so many shows I watched because I was procrastinating that, like, I probably wouldn't have watched now, which is funny because my time's a lot more precious now. All right. I wonder if you can guess. Anyone who's my friend probably knows what it is. Do you think you know? Outlander. Oh my gosh. And yeah, this is my number 1. And there's a couple reasons why. And, you know, you're still here with me. I'll tell you what they are. Number 1. The source material is amazing, and for the most part, no matter how people complain about it, I feel that the characters are very true to who their book characters are. I feel that Diana set up such a good story that even when the TV show varies from it, they're still in a very good place because it's not like it's a bad story and they're trying to fix it. It's a good story and they're just like, we don't have room for all of it, so we're just going to sift out certain things. And that's frustrating sometimes, sure. Frustrating for anyone when there's an adaptation for a book or a movie or anything. But I love them. I love Jamie and Claire. They're such a awesome relationship. It's such a cool marriage, especially when you get through all of the books. And yeah, I just think it's so good. Another reason, wow, because I said I would listen. Another reason is it's gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at, whether they're in Scotland or whether they're in America or whether they're in France or whether when they go to Cape Town in South Africa to film, they film it as the Caribbean. Like, it's beautiful to look at. And I think the story that's told is, like, pretty unique and interesting. And yeah, this is a show I absolutely do not miss ever. Like, if it is out, I'm watching it. Stars always drops their episodes at 11. They drop it at noon Eastern, but I'm in Central Time, so not noon, midnight Eastern Time, so it's 11 p.m. Central Time. I have never gone to bed early on a Sunday or Saturday. I stay up for this. I'm there for it. And season 4, we just found out, comes out this November. And they've just okayed seasons 5 and 6, which is so amazing because they kept, like, pushing it off. And I knew it was because they were going to do a double season renew, because that's what they did before. After season 2, they did a double season renew for season 3 and 4. And I'm so excited. I love where the story goes in books 4 and 5. I love where it goes in 4 and 5 and 6. Book 6 is actually pretty high on my list for favorite ones. But yeah, I love it so much. So yeah, Outlander is my #1 favorite TV show. You know, maybe that will change. I mean, it's changed over time. But yeah, it's so good. So yeah, thank you so much for coming to this with me. I had such a great time going over these. I'm so excited now. I really want to rewatch some episodes because it was so much fun. So yeah, thanks for being here, and have a great day. Love you.